Hey, what's going on, Guardians? TBL here, and today we're going to be taking a quick look at the Iron Banner Pulse Rifle, the Time-Worn Spire. I have been having an absolute ton of fun with this thing. I got it to drop in the Iron Banner, and really, it's actually kind of surprised me with how good it's capable of being in PvP right now. Of all the Iron Banner weapons, I think this and maybe the submachine gun and the fusion rifle are some of my favorites, and this is the primary that I've really found myself using. It's a very interesting weapon. We all know pulse rifles are in kind of a weird spot in Destiny 2 right now. Personally, the only ones I've ever been able to get any sort of consistent play out of are the Lincoln Green and the Vigilance Wing. Vigilance Wing is pretty good, and this thing has really completely surprised me with how good it can be in PvP. It's definitely got some flaws, but it's overall been a very fun weapon. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the perks. Now, this is a rapid fire frame pulse rifle, so it does come with that 540 RPM. That means it's very fast firing and it's got a lot of kick. It comes with the Hitmark iron sights, the red dot micro, which is personally what I use whenever I'm running with this thing. It's not too bulky, it gives you a nice clear view when you're ADSing, not too bad. And of course the rifle scope SSF. For perks, it's got tactical mag, which gives the gun multiple tactical improvements. It slightly increases your stability, increases your reload speed, and slightly increases your magazine size. And then of course we've got accurized rounds, which pushes this gun's range stat a little bit further out. Range, of course, being a very important stat in the game right now, especially for pulse rifles, as their damage falloff is fairly severe in Destiny 2. And it's something you definitely feel on the Time-Worn Spire. Finally, we've got Zen Moment, where causing damage with this weapon increases its stability. This is a key perk for this weapon because with having that 540 RPM, this thing kicks like crazy. It's got a recoil direction stat of 60, so it kicks up and very severely to the right when you fire it. It takes a little bit of a steady hand to keep this thing on target. So Zen Moment definitely helps out with that. You start that damage off, you get that first burst out there, land your shots in center mass, and then you just keep this thing pointed towards center mass. Zen Moment kicks in, it kind of makes this thing just kick straight up to the head. It's just a very helpful perk that works overall fantastic for weapons like this. Now, the Time-Worn Spire, I guess, is most easily compared again to the Lincoln Green, which generally got a little bit more stability thanks to steady rounds. But the Spire does have quite a few things going for it. First things first, this thing has a ridiculously high aim assist stat for this archetype of pulse rifles. It's sitting at about 79, and it's also got a really decent base magazine size of 36 that you can bump up to 39 with tactical mag. And these are both benefits that you'll definitely feel when you're out in the wilds of the Crucible. The high aim assist does make this gun particularly sticky, helping you keep on target while people are strafing in and out of shots, and helping you kind of keep this gun locked to center mass so again you can just bounce up for those precision shots. The gun's overall time to kill is about 1.13 seconds. It takes about 4 bursts where you get 9 crit shots and 3 body shots, which is certainly doable, especially if you're prepared for the kind of recoil this gun has. Again, you've got a steady hand, or if you're rocking something like kinetic counterbalance mods. The gun works pretty well at about up to mid-range. It allows you to burn people down fairly quickly so long as you're not, dipping a little bit too far out of mid-range, because again, the damage fall-off on this gun is pretty severe, and you're definitely going to feel it when you're going up against stuff like Uriel's Gift. Almost like everything else in Destiny 2 PvP, you're really going to have to pick and choose your encounters here because once you get out of the effective range here, this thing just gets outshot by some of the auto rifles in the game. And of course, you don't want to be challenging any scout rifles, at least at scout rifle range, because you're just not really going to do much damage. Like I said before, amongst a sea of pulse rifles like this and the Vigilance Wing are the two that I've been able to find some real luck with in PvP. You just really have to be able to manage the kind of recoil that this gun is going to come with base. And of course, that's where kinetic counterbalance mods come in. Now, like I said before, the Time-Worn Spire comes out of the box with a pretty low recoil direction stat of about 60. This makes the gun basically shoot up and to the right, and that curve to the right can sometimes be a little bit severe, especially if you're the type of player who likes to strafe a lot in PvP. Well, kinetic counterbalance mods can actually have a fairly dramatic effect on this. As you'll see here, the gun without the counterbalance mod basically kicks up and to the right. If you'll forgive the curved, not quite flat wall surface I had to use here. You can test it for yourself. It's very easy to see the kind of recoil direction this gun has when it doesn't have anything affecting its stability. Now, here's how the gun works with one kinetic counterbalance mod, which most characters will be able to probably manage. You can see it still kicks a little bit to the right, but it's much more vertical this time. Overall, definitely helping to make it a bit more manageable staying on target with this gun. Now check it out with two kinetic counterbalance mods. This is just for you cheesy hunters out there, if you're deciding to play PvP on that class. If you don't know, hunters can have kinetic counterbalance mods on their class item as well as their chest piece, and with two kinetic counterbalance mods, the Time-Worn Spire's recoil pattern almost becomes completely vertical, just straight up, making the recoil much more manageable by basically giving you the Destiny 1 version of counterbalance. It seriously has a significant effect, so if you're a hunter and you're lucky enough to have two kinetic counterbalance mods on your character, you might want to test it out. And if you're not a hunter, well, thankfully you can mix a single kinetic counterbalance mod with the benefits of the Zen Moment perk to kind of help out with some of that recoil there. Now overall, the Time-Worn Spire is definitely an interesting gun. It's capable of being very fun and it can absolutely shred in the Crucible, but it really does feel the limitations of its class. When I was getting this footage and playing around with it, the number one most frustrating thing for me was of course range. Damage fall off is super severe on pulse rifles, and it'll feel like sometimes you're just getting outshot at range by auto rifles, but if you're keeping to mid-range, this thing can definitely perform pretty well. Now, of the perks, I generally do recommend Tactical Mag. Accurized Ballistics does give you a little bit of a boost to range, but damage fall off is so severe, I really didn't find any overall benefit to running accurized rounds. I called it accurized ballistics a second ago. I still got Destiny 1 stuck in my brain, but that extra range just didn't really feel like it helped out, and overall I benefited more from the little bit of stability plus the slightly higher magazine size from Tactical Mag. So if you're a mid-range Crucible master who's been looking for a pulse rifle that fits just right, you might want to give the Time-Worn Spire a shot. Well, that is if you got it during the Iron Banner and didn't shard it. But there we go, Guardians, that is my review of the Iron Banner pulse rifle, the Time-Worn Spire. Did you pick this thing up? Have you given it a shot? If you got a couple of counterbalance mods sitting around, if you're just one of those crazy Destiny rich people who Bungie just throws kinetic counterbalance mods at, you might want to try this thing out. I think it's pretty good. But those are my thoughts. Be sure to leave me yours down in the comment section below. That's going to be it for this one, Guardians. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, I am the Black Link. You guys stay frosty.